Pull up a stool and pour yourself a pint as you're about to join three intrepid drinkers, Kevin, Justin, and Mark, as they embark on another Beertastic voyage.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Beertastic Voyage. My name's Kevin.
Greetings, Unabomber.
I left my sunglasses in the car. All right.
It's all right. You're in enough shadow that it's kind of hard to tell.
How are those LSD experiments?
You're awesome.
And I'm Justin, and that's
That's
Mark.
the guy in the Grateful Dead shirt.
Yeah,
That's
well,
gonna be about the
I didn't do it for an experiment, man.
Oh, man. Well, we're back at it, drinking some more beers today. And we have beers today from one of the newer breweries opening up on Long Island, SquareHead Brewing Company. They're in Holbrook, New York. They're the other guys right in that Holbrook corridor that I think all three of us at one point or another made that trip over there before they were open.
Yes.
Drove over there and went, oh, this isn't open yet.
I
This
never
is
actually
creepy.
made the drive over.
Oh, I definitely did.
I did reach out to them a few times through various means and never got a response.
Yeah, I definitely showed up at their door one day and there was nothing going on, and I was like, oh, this is kind of creepy, and I should leave now quickly.
I had gotten there once, and somebody was there, definitely one of the owners, and it was, they weren't open yet. But I'm happy to say that they are open. They opened on October 21st of this year, so a little less than a month ago. I was there for the grand opening.
Hooray! Grand opening.
Yes, it all started back in 2013 for them. They're a father-son combo of Dave and Brad Jordan, and they were drinking a Scottish elderberry ale around Christmas time.
Interesting.
And Dave is a home brewer. Both of them are members of Brewers East End Revival.
Right.
And
They're not good at attending, though, because I don't think I've ever seen either of them at a meeting since we started going.
Yeah, to be fair, they've been trying to open a brewery.
Yeah, it does kind of take a little bit of.
I'm not going to hang out with us. I'm going to go deal with that. So they were drinking this beer, and apparently Brad was, enamored with it. It was kind of one of the first craft beers he really liked. So his father said, we could clone this. And then 6 months later, after a few iterations, they had made a really good version of it. In fact, this beer was on tap when they opened. It was an elderberry ale that I had. It was quite good. At the time I drank it, I didn't know
Did
that.
it smell like your mother?
My mother. Why do you get so aggressive about my mom?
Kitty smells like elderflowers?
No. Monty Python reference? No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Spamalot?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Spamalot's not one of my favorites. So you're looking at me funny.
Also, your father smells like elderflowers.
You're right.
Yes.
Regardless.
I did not catch that in there, and I do love that. And I've actually even seen Spamalot on Broadway. It was fantastic.
I saw it on Broadway, too. It was very good.
Okay.
Big stocking song? Traditional. Anyway, now you can carry on.
Talking about Norwegians.
Exactly.
Oh, that's actually relevant.
There we go.
So
Bring it right back.
they had nice exit and then segue back. So they finally cloned the beer, and kind of the rest was history. They brewed together over 200 batches, and very shortly after, they kind of decided to open this brewery, and they called it SquareHead because they are Swedish, and that is what they call foreheads, the shape of a forehead, SquareHead, for most people that are Nordic. I've only really heard it in reference to Norwegians before, which is what I am.
Okay.
But apparently it's a Swedish thing too. Do not know that.
It's like the same thing, right?
Yeah, and they're yet another New York State farm brewery. So
Honestly, I did not know that, and my immediate assumption was to the I figured they were a bunch of motorheads and were big fans of the Harley Davidson bike, that they were going after something like that. And I hope that the Harley Davidson people do not give them any crap about the name, because I believe that's just a slang name for the motor that they use there. So
yeah, they'd have trouble dealing with it because people have been calling Norwegians squareheads for hundreds of years.
yeah, you got a couple centuries of work.
Yeah, exactly. The place is gorgeous. They have an absolute shit ton of taps. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it's like 20.
Wow, that's substantial.
Yeah, they have, the way that you order is they have Square and Head Brewing up on the board. The S, the Q, and each of the letters is dedicated to a tap.
Oh, so you just
So
know
they have,
what letter
like-
you want?
Yeah, but they have like B2, for the ones that are duplicated.
Right.
Okay. I'm
Like,
like, there's a
like-
lot of E's in there.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, these two A's, everything.
Yeah, so that they had so many beers on tap. I honestly can't remember. Besides the elderberry, I can't remember all the other ones I tried. I tried 2 or 3 others, and
Right.
we were all
Now, were
sharing.
all the taps loaded when they put it open?
All of them. the only thing they didn't have rolling is apparently they do I think they do house cold brew coffee, but they didn't have that running that day. They were supposed to. I think something happened, but
nitro cold brew coffee is delicious.
Especially cool that they they make themselves pretty badass.
It doesn't really do it for me.
I've honestly never really tried it because I'm not a big coffee guy, but the I can imagine it for someone who's into coffee, pretty cool. I just think it's neat. You see it a lot of places, and it's really neat that they do it themselves.
I've ordered the sail away a couple of times and always been like, I'll drink this, but I don't find it particularly enjoyable.
Yeah, I like it. Anyway, so what else did you see over there?
The place has kind of I don't want to say it's got kind of a standard vibe, but it still looks really cool. All the walls are hardwood, and they have a nice little nook. It's not that big, but it has a nice little nook off to the side where you can kind of tuck in with some friends and hang out, which is what a lot of the members of the beer clubs did. We hung out in there. The food truck, they had a food truck there. I can't remember the name. I have their card at home. They were amazing. They weren't a truck, actually. They were just like a catering company that came and did food.
Okay.
And the food was outstanding. I don't know how many times anybody's been out and gotten fries and they tend to be get greasy or at an event. You know what I mean? Not at a restaurant. They were able all the fries were super crispy. They weren't just sitting out. They were making everything to order and really fast. The food was very, very good.
That's good.
And I've heard that from other people. They've had a lot of food vendors come that I've seen on Facebook that I haven't heard before. You know what I mean? Not that makes them good. It just seems like they're getting an interesting vibe out there.
No, it is nice to kind of see a couple different ones. I mean, there's a few kind of standard food trucks that you see that hit a lot of the breweries, like the New York Rican food truck.
Yeah.
Which is good, but
big black food truck.
Right. After a couple times of having each one, you're like, all right, I know what you're bringing to the table.
Except the empanada truck. The empanada truck could be parked in my backyard.
And you still visit every day.
I don't think the Island Empanada truck really does the brewery.
There's a different there's a different truck that has empanadas.
But I do love the
Island. Well, New York thing does empanadas.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of then. I'm sorry,
Yeah, but the Island Empanada people are really good.
The Taps and Talon's the only brewery related thing I've seen them at, really.
No, they were at the Blue Point Cast Festival too.
Oh, I didn't eat that day.
They were there though.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I wish I knew. I probably should have eaten something. So everything was really good. I also remember having a pistachio pilsner, which was actually just made with a metric shit ton of pistachios, from what I was told. Pistachios.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, that was very unique and good.
That's interesting. That's interesting to me because that's not something that I've had before, and I haven't heard of anybody doing that before. I've heard of nut browns a couple different times with a few. Maybe some walnuts in there and stuff like that, hazelnut. But I don't think I've ever heard of pistachio.
The there was Imperial Stout that was very good. The elderberry beer that was referenced earlier I had, and that was also a very unique flavored beer. So they seem to do a lot of unique things and a lot of standby with a little bit of a twist.
Cool.
And I procured the first three bottles they released. We have a saison that we're going to try now called Hippies on the Yip, which is a Belgian blossom saison.
Right. It's got chamomile, rose hips, and hibiscus in it, and it's aged in whiskey barrels. Which this is bottle number 33 that they've made.
Yes. These were there were a lot of bottle selling going on. A lot of people were buying bottles.
Yeah.
I can say that this is a broad spectrum. I did have all three of them that day, and I really enjoyed them. So I'm very interested to see what you guys think.
Well, this is cool. I mean, we've got the two of them that are corked and caged, and we've got the one with the cap on it. But the other one's a double, and then there's also the robust brown. So we've got a pretty good spectrum of beers coming out from them. So the first one that we're pouring out is that saison, and pours out. It's got kind of a dark honey color to it. The carbonation's is there. It's light, but it's there. The head is kind of has dissipated on mine, and I didn't get a whole lot from the initial pour either.
No.
I had a decent amount. I mean, it sticks around a little bit. We had poured this a little bit before turning the mics on.
Right.
Yeah, it's got an off-white head. The aroma on it is fairly standard, somewhat barnyardy saison. I also think that the chamomile is probably coming through
it definitely has floral notes in there from the chamomile and the hibiscus.
I'm not very familiar with chamomile. I don't really drink tea either. I know that it has a floral quality to it, but I don't know what like sort of floral quality.
This one, the taste of it kind of has. I don't get that specific saison, like yeast character to it, or at least not overpoweringly. It does kind of have a very floral, light flavor. And then at the end, you get a little bit of that whiskey warmth to the back of the sip. But the mouthfeel is really thin. Really? To me, at least.
I have the opposite experience. Let's say it's thick, but I think the mouthfeel is actually a lot thicker than I would have in a normal saison. I get a little bit of peppery notes from the saison yeast, but I think you're right. The whiskey is sort of the leading thing. I get like a caramel sweetness, and especially towards the back of the sip, it's fairly creamy for what you would get from, say, just regular saison. This is obviously the farthest thing from a regular saison. I think the barrel contributed quite a bit to it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I also get like a hint of tartness from the rose hips towards the back of the taste.
I haven't spent as much time with rose hips as I know you, Mark, have.
I definitely haven't.
So to like pick out the flavor of what they are in the beer is hard for me. But we've had a couple different beers, maybe not on the show, but definitely just in drinking, that have been flavored with teas or flavored with a lot of different herbs like that. And they tend to produce a similar kind of quality, that really light, what?
Now, that just reminded me of from the LIBME beer competition.
Yeah.
I forget who it was, but somebody that judged the spiced herb vegetable beers.
Yeah.
It was like somebody literally brewed Celestial Seasons and put it in the bottle.
Yeah, I do get that feeling.
There was no beer in there; it was just tea.
you get the feeling sometimes that it's just kind of like a slightly alcoholic tea. This is not but it's kind of interesting, but it's not off-putting. But I can't quite put my finger on it, and I'm not 100% rushing to keep drinking it.
I really like it, and I'm going to take back what I said. The mouthfeel is thin, but it's very creamy in the finish. Like when you swallow it, right?
Fair.
Yeah, that's when you swallow it, you get that sort of a like caramel and whiskey sort of together, and that's the part I'm really liking. And with the kind of peppery saison note up front, I think it really plays well. It has a lot of complexity to it. I'm glad we have these out of the refrigerator while we were recording the last one, because this when I had this last time, it was pretty cold, and it wasn't nearly as complex. Still very good, but not as robust as it is now.
Yeah, I mean it's good, but I feel like maybe cut it down to just 2 special ingredients. Like ditch the chamomile or ditch the hibiscus, because the two together I don't think are really working that well.
Yeah,
I can't separate the two because I don't know what they would taste like opposite from each other. Like meaning, I'm sorry, not opposite, removed from each other.
I can understand what you're saying.
It's just like in the middle of the sip, it's just a little bit like potpourri.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going to say. It kind of comes off.
The flavors are kind of muddy.
Yeah, it comes off as an indistinct floral flavor, as opposed to having a specific flavor of saying, oh, that's the rose hips, or oh, that's the chamomile. It just kind of becomes a general potpourri, like you were saying. Just, oh, here's floral. Like, you can't distinguish what it is. Might be nicer if you could.
Right. I mean, and I'll take the opposite approach. I kind of like it together. When you describe it as potpourri, now I like it less.
Yeah, it's not the.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. It's more of a connotation in my head.
It's a melange of flavor.
Yes. But I'm not a big floral guy in beer. I don't really tend to like things that are overly floral, and I think this kind of rides the edge. And I think what
I've had plenty of beers with hibiscus in them that I really like.
Yeah.
I think it might be the chamomile in here. I don't know. It's just like the two together.
I probably would not like a beer that just had chamomile in it, but because of the sweeter finish, especially being that it's been aged in a whiskey barrel, I think that's the part that's giving it the balance that I would need to really enjoy it.
I understand that completely, and I think we're saying it a little bit differently, but we're on the same page.
Yes.
Of feelings with it. And for me, I'm going to start the ratings off on this one. For me, it's going to be a pint. It's tasty. it's interesting. I'm glad to see that you're doing something that's not 100% run of the mill, but at the same point, it's not so incredible that I want to keep drinking a ton of it.
It's a bomber for me. I think it's in the perfect size. A little bit to share, and then the rest for me.
I'd be happy to share this bottle. Like I want what I had, kind of perfect. I would drink a pint of it, but share it. I'd really much rather share this bottle.
I'm with Kevin. It's a pint for me. Just for the reasons I said, like it's just too muddy for me. I don't like. It's the saison base and the whiskey barrel are definitely nice additions, but the herbal ingredients just don't really sing to me.
I think that's fair. The
Fight
next one
with that
that
one,
Mark's fighting with here is called the owl whispers the winning numbers or something like that.
I was it
saw
really
it
that long?
Yeah, and Mark was turning the bottle away, so I couldn't keep reading it. But
It's a Belgian double.
Yeah.
With some, I think there's some shit in there.
Yes, the Owl Whispers winning numbers.
Fuck.
Yeah,
really?
the Owl Whispers winning numbers. That's the.
I thought you were really pulling shit out of your ass there. What is it? Is it just Belgian double, or is it? Is that aged in a
It
barrel?
says double aged in whiskey barrels.
All right. Now I would say that.
This one's at 7.4. This one's a little hot.
Yeah. Of the this one was 5.9. Of the Belgian beers, I would say that if I were to have to pick one and drink only one of like the Trappist ones, I would probably pick the double. Although I do like me a triple. So I'm interested to taste this again.
Well, this one has a very similar color. It might be a shade lighter than the other one.
A little bit. It's a little different.
I think it has a little bit of clarity.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it is a nice clear looking. It is a nice clear beer. It's got a little bit of that extra sweet in the nose there. It's kind of, you can smell that malt. Yeah, that caramel flavor to it. You get that sugary nose.
Yeah, I get a hint of the whiskey too.
Yeah, definitely a little booze action going there
It's
too.
not bad there.
Yeah, no, but it's subtle. It's not like, oh my god, this is.
Yeah, no, this isn't. Oh my god,
this liquor.
I gotta say that was one thing that I did really enjoy about the last one. But I mean, I know we've moved on, but like I want to just backtrack and say I was really happy that whiskey barrel one was not. Oh my god, feels like I'm chasing it with a shot.
Right.
That you sometimes get with like a lot of times whiskey aged porters or stouts, but that it was very subtle. Maybe they used like second or third time through barrels, that gave it just that hint of flavor.
Yeah, this one, the head on this one is cool looking.
Yeah,
it's very like the bubbles are really fine, swirly when I swirl it up.
This is really smooth.
It is. As I took the first sip, especially in comparison to the previous one, as Kevin mentioned, it definitely has more of that. This is whiskey going on to it.
It does.
But it plays so well. It plays so well with the style.
Yeah, at the same time though, like I feel like the time in the whiskey barrel really mellowed out the Belgian yeast character.
Yes.
Like it's still there, but it's definitely more restrained.
It also has more of a, probably because of the barrel, like you're saying, more of the peppery, clovey notes than the bubblegum. If we were on bubblegum at the end of the spectrum, mixing that with the whiskey, it would probably be super weird.
It's not. It is not. It's definitely more to the phenolic. Like it's definitely not very estery.
Right.
This is pretty interesting. I like this. Again, you're right. It has that little bit more of the whiskey kick to it, but it's still very mellow. It tastes like good whiskey that's been hanging around for a while. I like the little bit of extra sweetness in it. Just quality drinking beer. I like that there's not really crazy adjunct in it.
Yeah.
I like that it's just a straight malt flavor. It tastes almost like a single malt whiskey.
Yeah, actually, it does. I just had one for the first time a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, which
I don't know. I was something from Wild Spirits.
Okay.
I did the club went there and I did a tasting. But, you know, that's not really my jam. But the club was kind enough to pay for a tasting for everyone, so I gave everything a shot. That was a really cool experience.
Good single malt whiskey tasting.
Yeah, I can't imagine myself ordering one, but it was definitely an experience. I'm glad I had. I can understand what people are talking about now when they talk about it. But my favorite one was the rye. They have a rye whiskey that was
rye.
Really good.
Rye whiskey's nice because that's a little bit of extra spiciness to it.
Yeah, that's why I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's rye. I like drinking rye.
This beer is interesting. Like if you said, "Hey, I'm going to put double in a whiskey barrel. I'm going to remove most of the Belgian yeast character from it," I'd be like, "I hate you. Why would you do this to me?" But it plays very well together. The only criticism I'll have is because of the caramel, because you're removing the yeast character, you're getting more of the caramel sweetness from the base beer, and then adding some sweetness from the whiskey barrel as well. It's a little sweet. It gets a little sweet for me as I drink it. Okay. But that's me saying that. I'm the guy who mainlines Oreos.
But it's not the same.
No,
and
you know
that.
Yeah,
it's not a white sugar sweet. It's a molassesy, caramely sweet, which is really delightful in my opinion.
Yeah, I do enjoy it. I mean, I like it like a bomber, but I'm going to call it a pint because I don't think that I would want
to drink the volume.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. We're on the same page here. This would be a great hang out and sip beverage. I know I say that a lot, and I know that I constantly say it's a hang out by the fire kind of beer. I get that. I know if you're playing along with bingo board, that's my line that you check off. But this is just a good hang out drinking beer. It's not
very good winter beer.
Yeah, right now it's middle of November. It's a little chilly. It's a little I got my hood up. I'm a little cold. But this is good.
Heat in the basement.
You know, this warms you up. This is good to go. After Thanksgiving dinner, I'd sit down and have
My son is old enough and he can regulate his body temperature.
No more heat.
That's right.
My infant is not old enough, which means I live in the fucking sauna.
Yeah, you're still incubating.
Dude, it drives me nuts. I hate it. I hate sweating when I sleep. But anyway, this is really good, and this is that. Like I said, this is after dinner hangout drink beverage, and I really like it. But I'm exactly the same spot as you, Justin. It's bomber or growler level good, but pint volume. I couldn't have the tulip glass is the perfect glass for it. It allows you to get those little bit of spicy notes that come through. This is what I'm.
Yeah, I'm a fan. How about you, Mark?
It's a bomber for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doubles are my thing, and I like the way the whiskey barrel smoothed it out. I like the added warmth from the whiskey, a little bit of vanilla from it. I really enjoy it. Definitely 2 glasses for me, and that's not a problem for me. Over the last 2 days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, over the last 2 days, I polished off a growler of the Bruticus Optimus Maximus.
9.4
from Brickhouse.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I drank that with dinner the past 2 days.
There you go.
Oh, you stretched over 2 days. You didn't whack that growler.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't kill the whole.
I got a random text from a Friday going, "Oh, my second glass of Bruticus Optimus." I thought maybe they went to Brickhouse and he got out of work early. And I'm like, then he told me it was the Crowler, and I was like, "Oh, this is stay in type of drinking."
Yeah,
I just had a hell of a day at work.
I've been kind of going through my the random nothing special bottles and cans that I have floating around in my fridge. It's that's what I've been drinking recently. Nothing great. Just kind of all right, that's just. Oh, I've got 3 bottles of Sam Boston Lager. All right, I'm gonna drink those. Get rid of those. All right, I got a couple of those. All right, let me get rid of those. Nothing special going on. Those Dubco cans. I drank those Dubco cans. Those were good.
Yo, so Stephanie carnitas. Ooh, and she wanted a beer to put in the carnitas.
Oh, please tell me you used one.
Gilgo Goza.
Awesome.
In the carnitas.
Delicious.
You could seriously taste the beer. What we do with the carnitas that we don't usually do, and this is a pro tip at home, maybe everybody does this, but we did it for the first time. We took the carnitas and we spread it out on a sheet tray. We threw that bitch under the broiler for fucking 2 minutes just to crisp them up a little bit.
Good call.
Just a little bit.
How else would you make carnitas?
Okay, well, fuck off and die.
No, I've never thought about doing that.
He worked in a commercial kitchen. You never heard of it.
Yeah, no, I always make it.
We just made it straight up. Yeah, and that's it.
Pork, yeah.
And, I said honestly, I had the same sort of reaction.
I didn't get them crunchy.
We didn't. But that's the thing. I'm with you, because once it happened, I was like, why did we ever not do this? Like, it made no sense that we never did it before.
What did you think I meant when I said I made carnited what was left of the pulled pork from Carrick's birthday party?
I thought you just meant you, like, put it in a taco and, like, threw some shit on it. Like, I honestly didn't process it that deeply, honestly.
No, I meant that I mixed it with cinnamon, cumin, and lime juice and threw it under the broiler.
What, no fish sauce?
Oh.
No.
No.
I don't think
That's
so.
it. They're taking away your fish sauce card.
Yeah.
You gotta put that shit on.
I almost sent you a link to a thing that...
You saw the link that I posted the other day, right? Like, make all of your Thanksgiving dishes better with a dish of
that was...
Yeah,
I didn't see you...
Everything,
I didn't see you post it, but Steph found it while she was, like, just...
she must have found it from me.
No, it wasn't on Facebook. She saw it.
Oh, really?
To hers,
Oh, okay.
Because she said we should send this to Mark.
Oh, because she's the only person that like interacted with that post at all.
Do you know how many times I found like a post from somebody and gone, I need to share with this person, and then realized it's the person that shared it?
Oh yeah, that happens. That happens with your wife all the time.
Yeah, because you're scrolling shit and you're just like, oh yeah, and you don't see who does it. You're like, oh, that's interesting, and it reminds you of that person, and then you're like, oh, that's because they fucking posted it, right?
And if it's for you, it's because your wife posted it to your wall.
Exactly. Oh my god.
So
it's crazy.
All right. So I think we got all of our ratings in for that. But yeah, I mean, I had never done that. We hadn't done that before, and I honestly, it is a duh thing. Like, why would you not do that? You know what I mean? But we did it, and then I had some that I had to take to work, and we hadn't broiler fried it yet. And Steph was like, it was like.
That's a great verbing of that now. Good job.
7:30 in the morning or something, and Steph's like, oh man, I haven't put it on the broiler yet. And I was like, don't worry, I'll just eat it the way it is. She's like, no, we can't go back. She like put it on a sheet like before work so that I could have it broiler fried at work. I'm going to say it again.
There you go.
All right.
I agree. That is a great.
We're on our third beer. This is the Hudson River. It's just about that color.
Yeah, the right color and everything.
It's a robust brown ale, also aged in whiskey barrels. They must have a shit ton of barrels over there.
Or they're just doing small batches in the same barrels.
No, they have a pretty big system.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, you're right. They might be splitting it. I have no idea. But wow, mine is like very permanent.
I think you just pour a little more aggressively.
No, I'm just talking about how aggressively the bubbles are hitting the surface.
Nah, I don't see it.
Nope.
All right. Well,
I think you
maybe that glass isn't beer clean.
Oh, could be. It's not my glass. I'm not gonna say whose it is.
Did you give it a rinse in between?
A little bit. Oh, it smells so fucking good. Holy shit.
The smell is nice. It has a really robust kind of coffee
and chocolate.
Baker's
chocolate,
situation.
dark chocolate. You know.
Oh my god.
No, it's black as night. It's a really
very dark brown.
Dark color. And the bottle's kind of cool. Like I gotta say, like the label on the first two are not like the coolest things I've ever seen, but the label on this one looks kind of cool. It's kind of like a macro shot of like wood grain, like kind of like swirled and stuff, or like if you were swirling your coffee and you zoomed in on it, like that's kind of what it looks like. It's very cool color.
Oh man!
But yeah, the aroma on this is very nice.
Yeah, it doesn't disappoint when you drink it.
This is a tasty beer.
Let me get into this. I haven't tried it yet.
It's got really nice hints of dark chocolate, like very, very, very light roast coffee, and the whiskey that just sort of lingers around there. It's not a powerful whiskey by any stretch of the imagination.
You're right, and it's really nice. And because I mentioned it earlier, like a lot of times the darker beers have that stronger. They go harder with the whiskey flavor. When they barrel age stuff, they seem to go harder on it. To try
more aggressive.
Yeah, to try to compensate for the darker beer.
You taste the whiskey?
Right.
This is just delightful. This is just that right little bit of, I get a little bit of vanilla, I get a little bit of warm, and it's really nice in that. I would really like to know what kind of barrels they used.
It would be interesting.
I'm interested to know, what brand whiskey barrel they use, because shit, I might go buy a bottle of the whiskey that they used.
Right.
I know a couple of folks that we know. I think the guys over at I think I saw Buffalo Trace at a couple different places.
Oh, pretty popular one.
Which is popular, but it's to me, I think that's a little bit stronger flavor one. But this is really tasty, and I like that it's a brown ale, that it's not a really it's not a really heavy beverage too.
Right.
It's nice.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, let's say that was exactly a choice, but I think that to do this with a brown ale versus doing it with say, an imperial stout or something like that, definitely let the barrel shine a little more through. I get a lot more of the vanilla from the barrel than I do the actual whiskey, which is really pleasing.
Mm. This is absolutely delightful, and this is the winner of the three that we've had tonight for me.
Me too.
I've been progressively more pleased with each bottle. The first one was pretty good, the Saison. The double I liked. It was more like a whiskey itself, but this one's spot on. When I think of a dark beer with whiskey, like this is what I'm looking for. Not overpowering. I love it.
This is the perfect blend of a beer style in a barrel. It's one of the best blends of just a straight style in a barrel I think I've ever had.
Yeah. And this one comes in a 22-ounce bottle, and it is bottle number 22.
Ah.
So, coincidence. Hooray.
Yeah, this is it's gonna be a growler for me. I could drink a lot of this. It's you're drinking something that's fairly high ABV, but it's still deceptive at the same time. I think it was 7 and change. Can't remember.
Yeah, that's part of the bottle.
Sorry, 6.4.
6.4, like, yeah, this will get you there. And I think it'll kind of sneak up on you a little bit. Like, you're kind of,
Oh yeah.
not 100%, but definitely, like, the second glass, you're going to be like, oh, I'm a little more drunk than I was planning on being. Or at least me. I really like it. I think it's clearly in the bomber range for me. Like, I could go through this 22 and be really happy. Go have a nice night of sleep.
Yeah.
But I'd want to stockpile the bombers. I wouldn't want to do that.
I'm with Justin. This is a growler for me. I really, really enjoy it, and could definitely keep drinking it.
I mean, this is a fine beer. I tell people all the time, between judging, drinking with you guys on the podcast, LIBME events where like there's 50 fucking different things to drink, and like, I've given up trying to try every single thing that's out of place. Right. Thankfully now I can kind of spot shit. I'm like, that ain't worth it. I'm having that. But it's a rare occurrence now that I drink something and like I kind of like light up a little, and I'm like, ooh, this is something that like this is
magic.
Yeah. This is one of those ones for me.
Yeah, I'm concurring with you. I mean, I don't judge with you guys and drink them out, but like
we drink a fair amount of beer, believe me.
But yeah, I think I've put in a few miles, and I really like this. Like I said, give me half a dozen of these so I can keep them in the fridge and have them handy.
Yeah.
This was really surprising. I was really happy with it was a good progression through the bottles, and I'm really happy with what they're doing. I like that they're playing with the barrels and trying to experience find some of the stuff out. I'd be interested to see some of the other stuff that they had on tap because I did not get a chance to go over there yet.
Maybe we'll take a little day trip over there.
Yeah, I think that would be a good field trip for us to go experience them and see what else they have, because I mean if they're doing other things in the same range, then they are on the right track. And I hope that they find their niche in the community to keep making beers like this one.
Yeah, definitely.
Because this one's spot on. And if you're making more stuff like this, I'll come by and buy them. I absolutely will.
Damn right. Well, I mean, definitely congratulations to them on finally opening. It was a long road, and these were fantastic. So I wish them a lot of success, especially being fellow beer club members.
Yeah.
Along the lines of beer clubs, for us in real time, this is a week after the LIBME competition, the homebrew competition, and Mark and I were lucky enough to take home some ribbons. So I thought maybe we could talk about our experience judging.
Yeah,
and
we're gonna have to now that we're back at home, we're gonna have to put all the ribbons back on the arms of the.
There's not enough room.
Yeah.
All right, Hollywood.
Factamundo.
Well, we'll put the newest ribbons on.
I'm gonna wear my trophy around my neck like a Flavor Flav.
We get you like 1-inch chain.
Yeah.
and a padlock to fasten it.
I would get a little grill made out of bottle caps.
So interesting chain.
Yeah.
Did you know that for Mr. T's set of chains that he wore on the 18, there was one thing they bound it all together, and it had one giant clasp in the back.
Really?
Yep, they set it up. They welded it. They spot welded it all together so that he could, because otherwise it would have taken too many hours to put on and off all the time, and they would have gotten more tangled. So really, it was one big clasp all the time.
I did not know that. That's pretty funny.
There you go.
All right.
Sorry. There's my useless info.
I appripeciate that.
Yeah.
So
talk about it,
playing
Justin.
together.
Justin, what did you bring home medals for?
So
Ribbons.
Yeah, Mark keeps doing that same shit to me. I said bring home the goal. He goes,
No.
He goes, you mean blue?
Yeah, no, there's different things. Like, I don't correct you if you say medals versus ribbons. I correct you when you say brought home gold, then I'm like, no, blue.
See, but I feel like you should equally correct me. Like, I feel like if you're going to correct me, they're both equally wrong. Both of the things are equally wrong. Kevin's just breathing.
I'm not like, this is one of those, this is pedantry in the most extreme sense. I'm just not touching this.
Okay, that's fine. I appreciate that. We're going to leave that alone. You're right. We should ignore that. Mark and I can argue about that later.
What did you win awards for, Justin?
So I had 5 beers in the competition, and I had 2 that I really thought had a really good shot. One of those is the Russian Pale Stout Mark and I did about a year or so ago now.
Yeah.
A little less, a little more.
13 months.
Yeah, and so that one I was really looking forward to because every bottle I've had has been awesome. One bottle out of all the bottles that I've had from that was like sour.
Right.
And apparently they got the other one.
Oh, man.
So that's fine.
a bummer.
Totally understood. No big deal. But that was one of the ones I thought would do well. Didn't. Of all the beers I made, the one I wasn't expecting to do anything, of course, is the one that I won for. I won for a fruit beer. It was the Berliner Weiss with Naranjila fruit.
I had that one.
Yeah.
And that was really scrumptious beer.
Yeah. So that one got a 39 and won the fruit beer category. And from what I understand, it was very well enjoyed at the Best of Show table. At that point, I was a firm 6 points ahead of Mark in a Brewery of the Year thing. 5 points for first place, homie.
What do you mean?
Like
3. They count the
You get 2 for entering and then 3 for first.
No. 2 for entering, an additional 1 for third, 3 for second, and 5 for first.
Oh, is it 5 for first?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
1 + 1 + 2 + 1.
Yes. So then, Mark had to go, and I knew Mark did well in another category, and then he won 3 ribbons.
3 ribbons, Mark. What 3 ribbons did you win?
Yeah.
I got 3rd place for my experimental mead.
Okay.
Otherwise known as our Christmas present.
Yes.
Excellent. Looking forward to it.
Coming to a gift bag near you.
All right.
Pick that up close to your face.
Yeah.
The microphone. Thank you. Yes, that's better. You were talking into the top of it, and it was coming through crappy.
Good.
So
All right,
that was
so-
the ginger lime with French saison yeast.
Which I have not had yet, but I'm looking forward to, as always.
So that was my 3rd place ribbon. My 2nd place ribbon was for my Catarina Sour with guava.
Which I thought, I didn't realize Mark had sent that out to other ones. I thought he'd only sent out the soursop version.
Right.
Because the first time I tasted that, I'm like, this is like a really amazing. I don't even like guava, and it was a really good blend of this base style, which is essentially an alcoholic Berliner Weiss, with that fruit. I really enjoyed that beer.
Okay.
And that got like a 37 or something like that.
Wow. Nice score.
And only 2nd place. It lost out 1st place to a golden sour that Eric Grimm, the president of the beer club,
Right.
submitted. So at the meeting tomorrow night, I want to ask him what score he's actually got.
Right.
Because I'm just curious.
I mean, so my question to you is, if it's what is that, a 50, right?
Yeah.
All right. So if it's a sub 40 score, right?
Right.
If it's like you said 37 you got?
I think so.
So if he got like a 38, which is essentially a tie, like, would you be frustrated with that? Like, would you be like,
No.
No,
Well, I
I'm not
think
frustrated. It really
like a coin toss kind of thing?
No, it's mostly just out of curiosity. Like,
Okay.
how badly did I lose this by?
Especially judging now, like for me at least, prior to judging,
Yeah.
if I found that out, yes, I'd be frustrated because I would assume that it was like a basketball score.
Right.
But like, it's not.
Yeah.
Like his could have been a 38, but could have been way fucking better. You know what I mean? Just the way the scoring ends up working out. Or Mark's could have been way fucking better, and his could have been a 30. Like it doesn't like.
No, I understand.
It's so
It's following you guys with your trek into becoming judges. Like I kind of understand that it's not necessarily 1 point is not the same percentage point. Like it can be a big difference between that 1 point.
Right.
And then The first place ribbon was, again, for the Lichtenhainer.
Lichtenhainer version 2. Not really version 2, just brew 2.
That's the Lich King one.
Yes.
That is being brewed at, that got brewed at Blue Point.
Correct.
Yes, but this batch and all batches going forward, it is now called technically not a wheat beer.
Thank you, Tom Weber.
Technically not a wheat beer.
Yes.
I like Lich King way better.
Yeah.
I get it. I get you gotta like stick it to the man, but like Lich King's cool, man.
Yeah, I find it funnier calling it technically not a wheat beer because it won the wheat beer category at the beer homebrew club competition, and there's no wheat in it.
And the base style, to anyone who doesn't know, technically it should be wheat, but we use rye because that's what we do.
Yeah, you guys, because you both have some rye.
Yeah, well, that we can no longer even begin to talk about so we have sacks of all the things now. I have a sack of rye. I have a sack of Vienna now. We have the base malt area pretty much blanketed.
Okay.
I think we just need a sack of Munich.
Right. I mean, I know Munich is technically a base malt, but there are not many styles where anyone's using it as a base malt.
Who's going to be the first one to build a little silo on the side of the house?
That's definitely it.
Yeah, if one of us were to do it, it would be me, but I'm still not doing that. Actually, out of all the people we know, it would be Don and Brian Bennett.
Oh, yes.
They would have a silo on the side of the house first.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you could probably put one in the carport there.
Yeah, I probably could. But what's funny is we joke because, I'm in my basement right now. I think I have close to 200 pounds of grain, not including the Vienna. Like, it's somewhere in that ballpark. It's like 150 at least. And you have another, like what, 100, 150 here?
So, yeah, that's a good...
But there's no super sacks.
No, we have no super sacks. But we have fucking too much grain. We have to either brew, either brew larger batch. I don't know what we're going to do with all this. The Vienna is the scariest one because we're making a Helles Doppelbock, and we needed Vienna for it, like 12 pounds.
Yeah.
And you look at it, you're like, all right, so 12 pounds. If we want to brew it again, that's 24. That's basically half a sack, roughly speaking.
Might as well buy the sack.
Might as well buy the sack. So that's what we did.
I mean, I'll use Vienna for other things.
I'm going to make a Vienna lager.
I was going to say, Vienna's a pretty common base, isn't it?
Yeah, like I can use some Vienna when I make Kölsch.
Vienna's a nice one. That's one of those ones that's kind of in the middle there that you can use for a variety of styles.
Yeah, like it's got some nice toasty flavors, but it's not
I like them.
Super dark.
And one of the things that everyone can look forward to in the future is Mark and I throwing down for an oatmeal stout. Mark fucking called me out for a brewer's duel.
There we go.
So we're going to do oatmeal stout.
So what do you do? You guys compare dick sizes and then you brew beer?
Something like that, yeah.
Secret ingredient is the ass.
All right. Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap this one up.
Yes.
You guys have anything else?
No.
All right. So if you haven't already, head over to SquareHead, check them out, tell them that we sent you over there, and try these beers and let us know what you think about it. All right. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
If you enjoyed Beertastic Voyage, please be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to review and rate us. The guys can be found online at www.beertasticvoyage.com, on Facebook at www.facebook.com/beertasticvoyage, and Twitter and Instagram at Beertastic Show, or send them a good old-fashioned email at beertasticvoyage@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and cheers for local beers.